CEO of Gazprom Bank, Alekmenko. Thank you very much. Yes, money talks. Money, it's about us, and it's about money, and not only that, because we discuss cooperation between Russia and Kazakhstan in gas sector, and we've got a lot to tell you about. We've been through on one of our innovative products, it's banks follow-up of contracts, and I'll fill in on this product, and I'll tell you how we are going to take that on board when it comes to cooperation between Russian and Kazakhstan companies. In a nutshell, on Gazprom Bank, we are number 3 bank of the country. We have got very strong position in international financial markets. We're number 3 on total assets of Central and Eastern European banks, and one of the leaders on underwriting, settlements, financing, and asset management. We have got more than 400 representative branches in Russia, and 4 subsidiaries in Europe and CIS, and 4 international rep offices, more than 6,000 legal entities, and more than 5 million households are our customers. In implementation of any project whatsoever, and in oil and gas sector as well, when we finance those projects, we can see that majority of those projects look like that. When it comes to the cost and deadlines of project implementation, is a far cry from what has been initially discussed when we only onboarded our client. Major factors impacting that: the source, the quality of source and blueprint documentation, the quality of planning and execution of construction projects, the absence of the due control over the compliance with the budget, financial, and also financial mismanagement. This is typical for all the projects whatsoever, and this is true for gas and oil sector with its own implications and undertones, but mostly, unfortunately, in more than 90%, that's the way it is. Key risks evolving in any project whatsoever, it's exceedance of budget expenditures and procrastination of deadlines. Banks' follow-up of the contracts is there to mitigate those risks. This bank's follow-up means appearance of sustainable and reliable subcontractors, because we do very thorough due diligence of compliance, financial monitoring, and safety and security. But monitoring means the proper expenditures and discussions on each and every payment order, and control over compliance with the deadlines for the project, physical volumes of the works, and also the terms and conditions of cooperation. For the first time, it was in 2009 when we heard this word combination, banks follow-up, when President Putin wanted 3 lead banks of Russia to do this follow-up. For example, that was in several federal motor roads, and also monitoring of the construction of the second stage of the Mariinsky Theater. So there was a special governmental provision and by law about banks' follow-up of contracts identified by state customers based on federal law, and then this federal law on state military procurement was amended, and other amendments were introduced into the law. That way, there was the governmental request to scrutinize the proper expenditures. And in all the lead banks, this system of banks follow-up over expenditures is now very popular. Corporations are very much interested to use this technology as well. What is this bank's follow-up? In Gazprom Bank, is its state-of-the-art ecosystem to exercise control over the proper expenditures via monitoring of calculations and settlements identified via special accounts opened up by that, and also monitoring of all the settlements exercised within the frameworks of this contract, and also online reports on the results of the control. How does it work? We open up a separate bank's account for general contractor, for subcontractors, sub-subcontractors, all the way down to the end producer of works or materials. So in the banks, we have got this pyramid of different accounts for different entities participating in the contract. So it is a separate system, and the bank negotiates each layer, doing bank's due diligence and bank's experts' examination of each and every account, and issues the report on the results of this control. Those who are in the perimeter of the control, they see this pyramid. It's very flexible perimeter, and inside this system, there are those who need that. And of course, there is a payroll and also state regulation of tariffs. That is the exclusion. Some invoices, some overlays, some other things which customer excludes from perimeter of control. Customer makes an agreement with the bank identifying the request to make separate settlements via different segregated accounts, and settlements will go via those segregated accounts. Subcontractors and suppliers, when they sign their own agreement with the bank, they also have got this segregated system. They identify the parameters and objects of control. Bank introduces that into online system. Banks are open for general contractor and subcontractors. They have got their segregated accounts, and then payment order is going through this system. Bank does thorough due diligence, monitors all those transactions, and provides the customer with report on the results of monitoring. It's a very flexible instrument. There are some parameters of bank's follow-up which could be tailor-made for each follow-up agreement. Its regime and mode of the account, all prohibited transactions, if they are not related to implementation of this contract, then they will be excluded. Also is the subject of control, which is shown there, different forms of bank statements. It's the perimeter of control, the list of substantiating documents, and the forms of reporting. Bank's follow-up is helpful to monitor budget, reduce legal and tax risks, and is the sort of information on analysis of such projects. Customer signs an agreement with the bank. Together with the bank, identifies the parameters, includes that into bank's follow-up agreement, and provides us with procurement documents, and so there will be application, and from their workstation they'll keep track of interactive reports and inform the bank that the contract is executed. All the rest of the work will be done by Gazprom Bank. I will not dwell in great details on each parameter but this is a very good system for a bank and for those who execute this contract in the territory of Russian Federation and outside. It has been proven that this system is very highly efficient. We can calculate in money in specific projects because we get feedback from our corporate customers and from governmental agencies as well. We developed and implemented a plethora of different interactive instruments within this instrument of report. So we do thorough analysis of all the money items. We developed a wide range of automated services, customer services, and not only that, which are embedded into the product and which we offer to our clients. I'll dwell at more details in two things. Number one, our figures today we have follow-up contracts which are more than 7.5 trillion ruble worth. 30,000 our clients opened up accounts. We conduct 16,000 transactions daily, and we prevent illegitimate transaction in the amount of more than 150 billion rubles. Inside our portfolio contracts, 50% are oil and gas contracts of known companies like public joint stock company, Gazprom Neft, Transneft, Novatek, other clients of ours, and the projects which bank is financing. I can name different projects, but no time for that. In a nutshell, about cross-border banks follow-up, we always thought that this is very Russian product and banks follow-up could not be used anywhere else but Russia. But it so happened that in 2018, one of our customers wanted us to do everything we do for the Russian Federation, but to do it in Serbia. And we conceived the technology which is entitled cross-border banks follow-up. We do not do settlements in the territory of the country whereby the project is exercised. We find partner bank, integrate our systems, and cater for informational flows for some of the accounts opened up in a partner bank. And we do monitoring of settlements, mindful of the payment orders attached to those transactions. And we say whether it's possible or it's prohibited to do that. All the other services are the same as we do in Russian Federation. We do it tailor-made for the partner country whereby the project is implemented. That way we figured out that this technology could be used elsewhere. We have good projects like that in CIS, Belarus, Serbia, Turkey, Bulgaria. And we hope to start working in Azerbaijan and Uzbekistan shortly. Now we're negotiating that with Kazakhstan banks. In order to give it a try in Kazakhstan, we got feedback from Kazakhstan colleagues, and this is a high priority project for us. Digital services, interactive reporting and financial statements, the service developed for the customer of the service from their own workstation to see general contractors and cooperation, settlements and balances on the accounts, substantiating documents to prove the payment order, the subject of control. It's done in dynamics online. You can see the money execution of the budget and cost budget and so on. In the nearest future, we'll also have a mobile app. You'll see it from your gadgets, from tablet, and from smartphone. It's unparalleled and unprecedented. In Russian Federation, there will be a personal account to follow up the contracts. It's a uniform shared space, digital space for electronic workflow. And so customers and executors and the bank can also integrate their ERP systems of customers. There is a portal or the transmission of substantiating documents. That's how we put together source data and anything about cooperation. You can see the status of payment order, get access to interactive reporting, so you see what is happening to the payment order in every given point of time. Some of the services is the demonstration of the fact that counterparties are good faith counterparties. We use Spark interfax, and also we have got automated bank system stop list, and also we use metal informational systems. So that is the demonstration of good faith or non-good faith and unscrupulous counterparties. That way we'll carry through with banks subject matter. I would like to invite Dmitry Kirin, Managing Director of the Block of Customer Relationships of Gazprom Bank. And first of all, I beg you, please be very brief. We are tight on the agenda, and there is one technical issue here. Dear colleagues, so today it's hybrid format of our event. Kazakhstan Online is also participating, and there will be a representative of Gazprom, Mr. Penchan, if he is connected via Zoom. So let me know. And now, Dmitry Sergeyevich, let's carry through with this topic of Gazprom Bank, state-of-the-art solutions. Dear colleagues, dear participants, to recap on the topic of effective control over money expenditures, I would get down to money per se, where to control. It's common knowledge that nowadays in international markets, when customers are placing orders in tenders, they're interested not only in the price of the commodities, but also quotation of the interest rate on the loan that will be effective package, that is equipment price and cost of money. Our bank has got a program which is very helpful for Russian exporters to raise their competitive edge when they tap international markets, because this funding will be at the subsidized interest rate. That way, they will be competing successfully versus overseas peers. First of all, I would like to tell you that our bank has been most proactively participating in many programs of support in Russian Federation. This program was initiated by the Ministry of Industries and Trades. Russian Export Center is the agent of the program, and Gazprom Bank became the first authorized bank. Everything is regulated by governmental provision 199. Within this program, there are two opportunities to be entitled to subsidized financing. First one is very straightforward for other financing, and the maximum amount of the financing for a subsidized interest rate is 30 billion ruble. And also there is investment financing up to 60 billion rubles. Within the frameworks of this program, it's possible by exporter to sign a corporate program for competitiveness, which will provide a huge discount. Loans become by 4.5% interest rate cheaper by the interest rate for Russian exporter or for buyer. I'll tell you then about types of loans for this program. If exporter signs a corporate program of competitive edge, then it will be possible to get the interest rate discount by 3.5%. But this should be done until the year end. If you turn to us with that application in November, we'll be able to agree upon subsidized interest rate for you, so you have to pay less on interest rate. More about interest rates and the subject of financing. With this program, it's possible to finance the goods which are identified in the order of the Minister of Trade 2095 of July 2020, very long list. It's machine and heavy engineering equipment, machine tools, and certain stages of metal processing and gas processing and petrol products processing as well, although it's the support of non-commodity export, but nonetheless, petrochemical products processing is also part of it. Minimal interest rates in this program with a floating interest rate, it could be LIBOR or Euribor. If the rates are negative now, under the negative value of LIBOR or Euribor, the rate is zero. Now Euribor is zero, so will provide the borrower with zero interest rate, but we should show at least small percent. So we would say the interest rate it will be 0.1 fixed interest rate. It's CIR. It's the rate of export credit agencies. It's published in OECD countries. You can find this information. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in dollars it's 1.4, in euro it's 0.2. That's minimal interest rate which bank can offer. Of course, we'll be analyzing, as all the other credit institutions will do, borrow due diligence, and will add up some margin for risk. The outcome of providing subsidies, and as the result, bank by the same token as the borrower will have to produce the statement for that. For each ruble of subsidies provided by Russian Federation to obtain this discount, there should be 4 rubles worth of export obtained in return for that highly subsidized interest rate and discount. That's how we do it. That's a mechanism of providing state support. At the first stage, the manufacturer submits the application for participation and selection. It's until the year end, when maximum discount would be 4.5% at the interest rate. After the selection, provided the manufacturer is a winning bidder, they sign an agreement on implementation of this project with Ministry of Industries and Trade, then turns to the bank for financing, and the bank would refer this application for signing a trilateral agreement, and then start financing the project. Next, types of funding and about expenditures within those types. Other financing is financing of production and export. It could be with this contract or without, but then the tenor, the maturity of the loan should be no more than 3 years. But the difference is in this discount is a 3.5 or 4% interest rate. It's possible to fund the manufacturer of the product to produce and export this product, or we might finance the buyer, the overseas buyer of the product. Investment financing is the financing to create the projects on export-oriented productions in Russian Federation. It's the projects on setting up Russian projects in other countries and implementation of EPC contracts abroad. That's it. Thank you. Very interesting topic. I think my colleagues have got questions by the same token as myself, but you should ask them on the sidelines of the conference because we don't have time, because we have got several more very interesting presentations in store for you. I would like to give the floor to Vladimir Bessel, professor of oil and gas, Gubkin Academy. He's also executive vice president of New Tax Services. He's under two hats, science and practice. And while Valery is getting ready for presentation, I would like to try to do it next with online Kazakhstan participation. Next will be Barusan Makin from Kazakhstan. If that will be possible for us to get them connected online. Next will be Barusan Makimov. Valery, floor is yours. Thank you. I am privileged to speak at this session. And I might say that I am closely related to Kazakhstan. My grandfather used to be the party leader in Kazakhstan, and my father was also born and raised in Kazakhstan. So for me, this country, this independent country, is very close. I like it very much. I started doing business in Kazakhstan with famous businessmen in Kazakhstan. But I will speak about other things. I would like to mention the fact that energy consumption in the world has been scaling up year in, year out. I made analysis on the basis of data from BP. If you disagree with the numbers, that's for BP guys. Dynamics of energy consumption over a recent decade doubled, but mindful of COVID pandemic when it was 3.4% slump because of that 2.8% annual. That's the growth of energy consumption by mankind. That's an awful lot, and we should not turn the blind eye on it. Why does it grow? Because we keep consuming more and more. That is what we pay for new technological setups and technological revolutions. It's a very big increment. It's a very big hike in per capita energy consumption. That's the price we pay for energy comfort. And the population has been growing on planet Earth as well. When the mankind is growing by 1 billion, and by 2100, planet Earth would be the place for residence of more than 11 billion people if we grow by that pace. Unless anything happens, I hope that will be the case. So there will be 11 or 12 billion people. Problem is that there is a growth of consumption per capita, and also by the same token, population has been growing. So we should put together lots of efforts to recover this energy balance in the world between just 2020 and before. All kinds of energy are scaled up. Over the recent decade, we may say that the renewables are outstripping nuclear energy in the balance of global energy consumption. Mindful of the real energy production, energy generation in the world, not what Greta Thunberg and others would like to see. So actually it's about all types of electrical consumption. It's organics, 56.8% is hydrocarbon stockpile. Our company is a service company. Gazprom is one of our majority shareholders. We do business together with them. It's fabulous, but we have to stretch up and to produce more and more hydrocarbon stockpiles, oil, gas, coal, hydro energy, nuclear energy, renewables, and altogether more than 13,000. That's from the website of BP. As to the dynamics of the structure of energy production between 1980 and 2019, there was the very big scaling up of natural gas over the recent 40 years. It's most highly efficient and environmentally friendly type of fuel. From all the organic fuels, oil consumption was slumping. It's only 3% of oil in the generation of energy. As to different groups, the share of organics was slumping by 6.8%. Hydrocarbons were reduced by 7% because oil pulled out from central generation. Renewables, hydro energy, solar energy, wind, it went up to 11.5% from 6.5%. We should be mindful of that when we mention green energy. Green energy is local energy, local supply to local sites, but not global. But its share in the global energy consumption has been scaling up rapidly. Hence our conclusions. That's over 40 years retrospectively. Natural gas will be predominant all the way through, and then hybrid schemes will phase it out. What would be the next global source of energy? I don't know. Not hydrogen, I should say. The proven reserves of organic fuel in the world, it's first pay category. Organic fuel, it's more than 1 trillion, and hydrocarbon, 460 BCM. And when we are looking at reserves to production ratio, organic fuel would be there with us 90 years down the road, whereas hydrocarbon stockpile will be there with us only 52 more years. We should do something about it. We are contemplating energy transition. We're in quest of other types of energy. Because we are also analyzing remote region whereby it's very difficult to provide more the energy supply which would be sufficient for technological processes. As to the dynamics of the reserves and RPR ratio reserves to production, it's not very good coefficient. Blue markers show polynomial regression of the second degree, and you can see this parabola which is below. We can see that ups and downs are very local. It's Middle East countries and Canada, and just no other reserves. That's BP's statistical review. I would like to emphasize the role of Kazakhstan and Russia in our cooperation from the standpoint of energy supply for two largest economies. According to World Bank data, which is available, economy number one is Chinese People's Republic on purchasing power and capacity, and U.S. And as to us, we are not leader here, and Kazakhstan as well. But we can see that when it comes to reserves of organic fuel, mindful of coal as well, they are plentiful in all those regions. As all the countries are going to phase out coal from balance of energy consumption because it's not a pure fuel. As to hydrocarbon reserves, oil and gas, we have got 47 ton of oil equivalent, and China only 10.7, and EU only 4 and 6 billion tons of oil equivalent. It's not enough, and this is Eurasian space between the largest economy of the world, China, and economy number 3 of the world, EU. There are 3 centers having huge reserves of hydrocarbon. That's Middle East, 129 ton of oil equivalent. Second one, Iran, which is under stern sanctions. And I couldn't figure out those sanctions. Then I figured out they segregate Iran from supplies of hydrocarbons to EU. And you can see our place here as well. Russia, Kazakhstan, 52.9 BCM. We cannot be not objects but subjects of policies. We can exercise. Please be briefer. We can exercise policies of delivery. Well, that's important, but you have to finish, okay? That's it. Thank you. For me, it's always a great pleasure to listen to the presentation to distinguished Professor Bessel. He's a top-notch expert, a global expert, and he'll always tie the issues of business agenda to global trends. He's wonderful. And now I would like to give the floor to Kazakhstan side. Bursan Makina Company. They are connected via Zoom. Anton Starum, CEO, Bursan Makina Company, Kazakhstan, Almaty. When you fly over to Almaty, and from the airport you take a ride to the downtown, you'll pass by Bursan Makin. It's a huge complex in proximity to airport. You'll see black and yellow colors. It's called Yellow Highway. The color of Caterpillar, and Borsana Caterpillar dealer covering entire Kazakhstan Republic. Anton, hello. Hello, Mikhail. I hope you can hear me. Yes, it's all fine. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks for having been invited. My welcome to you. And you described where we're located in a very nice and clear way. So welcome. Visit us today. I'll speak briefly about what we do and to tell you about some projects which we implemented in Kazakhstan in energy sector. We are a company which is a dealer of Caterpillar since 1999. We have been working across the entire Kazakhstan Republic since that date. Now we have got almost 2,000 employees, and we are very proud that in our country, in the heart of a downtown certified center on restoration of components is operating, and we offer solutions to mitigate emissions, to mitigate carbon footprint, and we do service support, providing our customers with spare parts. Lion's share of our activity is concentrated in mining sector of our republic, but oil and gas and road construction segment are also amounting up to quite a big chunk in our portfolio. I'll fill in on some of the projects in this sector. In particular, I refer to gas piston stations. We have been supplying since long way back quite successfully. Our goals are to right-size the cost of production, to build an energy efficient, to improve ecological KPIs, to reduce hazardous emissions from coal working, thermal stations, and we interact very closely with oil and gas sector, food sector, telecommunications as well. And here you can see major directions for each of those sectors. whereby we offer our solutions as to oil and gas. We can support the projects on utilization of associated gas to provide electrical thermal power to the fields and to compressor and pipe stations. We have got very good cooperation with food industry. It's production of beverages using CO as well. We work with Pepsi Cola and Coca-Cola, also with bakery and flour and canned food, horticulture, metallurgic industry has been scaling up in the portfolio of our projects. I'll tell you about one of the projects related to cryptocurrencies, crypto mining, implemented in western part of our country. Here, quite briefly, I would like to visualize some of the projects we embarked upon, like Asian gas pipeline. It was as far back as 2012. We offer solutions containing packaging so that it will be possible to install gas piston stations inside and outside. Octobin's copper mining company has been using our equipment. And this thermal power and capacity goes to the entire mining combined, which is called 50 years anniversary of October Revolution. There are some other projects. We have got joint projects with a huge company in oil gas sector, Tengis Chevroil. We provide for energy supply of large camp for 6,000 people. And here is Vashota Rail project. That's the project for energy cogeneration. We can enhance efficiency of the installation using cogeneration and trigeneration. This is widely used, especially in the sector which is related to food industry. That way, it's generation of electrical capacity and also thermal power to sustain optimal temperature, let's say in hothouses and greenhouses. Data center project is huge, more than 40 megawatt of capacity, and we have got a vast growing potential for us. It's a new and fascinating direction we embarked upon. We quite successfully launched it last year, and we rolled it out very successfully indeed. So altogether, we managed to roll out in Kazakhstan the projects amounting up to more than 160 megawatt capacity, and the total number of projects we implemented as company group around the world amounts up to 150 megawatt. That is the main part of my materials which I have prepared. This topic is very deep and very interesting. It should be noted that on top of that, we are also able to design projects related to waste gas, biogas, and offer solutions for use of such types of fuel as well. Thank you very much for your attention. That's it. Thank you very much, Anton. Thank you. Dear colleagues, we continue. We have got very tight program here. And now I would like to invite Valery Karlov, Director of Department of Oil and Gas and Zeppelin Power Systems Company. While Valery is at it, I'm here to say that it's exactly that company, Zeppelin, which was created by Count Zeppelin, one of those guys who discovered sky and opened it up for the mankind. 3 minutes. Maybe 4, I'm bargaining. Okay, I would like to welcome my Kazakhstan colleagues because I'm from Kazakhstan and That's a very important. Ajax plant was present here. That project about 12 years ago was done. It was compressor station 2, compressor station 6. We helped them with energy supply by constructing those compressor stations, and we worked with the Berslan company. By the way, this project of compressor station 2 and compressor station 6 were done by Berslan company. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, allow me to articulate my acknowledgments to the organizers. It's wonderful that we can share results of implementation of state-of-the-art solutions in gas sector. How should I move slides? So I won't be able to show my presentation. Okay. Zeppelin company, I have the honor to introduce and planning a strategy for business in Russia and CS is based on Energy Strategy 2030 in order to enhance energy efficiency of economic complex of the country on the basis of environmentally friendly energy efficient resources for energy projects. I'll speak about reduction of gas losses during repair work at gas pipelines. First of all, it's necessary to have state-of-the-art high-tech solutions, and Caterpillar company as Zeppelin can offer within the Energy Strategy 2030, and also have got a vast experience in implementation of such projects. It's about robust operations of the equipment and very good service. In the nearest future, the major driver of development, as has been mentioned here, will be fuel and energy complex. Mindful of that, expected innovative solutions to develop this sector are presented in exploration upstream and downstream as well. In downstream, it's the technology of deep processing of hydrocarbon production and application of ecologically pure motor fuel or oils and transportation of LNG, creation of high-pressure trunk pipelines, increasing efficiency of the projects. In upstream, its implementation of technologies of enhanced oil recovery, the fact to reduce energy intensity in transportation, so there could be very good technical condition of pipelines. There should be repair works on the lines of pipeline, implementation of energy efficiency for a new construction and greenfield and brownfield projects here. Everything I enlisted here is the broad sphere of activities of Zeppelin. Zeppelin is there to offer you robust, high-tech, state-of-the-art solutions on the basis of Caterpillar. Our divisions in Central Europe, Zeppelin Central Europe, Scandinavia, Eurasia do supplies and service for scrapers, pig traps, and so on. We supply equipment for production and treatment of plastics for silo storages, and my division is the division of power machines. That's about a shipment of industrial and ship engines, piston engines for oil and gas, electrical thermal oscillators, which was mentioned by colleagues from Borusan. And without any doubt, the suggestions in turnkey for energy supply for large industrial enterprises, also in oil and gas sector. Out of this plethora I enlisted, and of course I was supposed to show you the slides, but I failed. There is a plethora of different types of equipment. For example, gas piston engines line broadly used in gas compression. Mechanical duty and capacity is distributed from 50 kilowatt to 6 megawatt is representative by 37, 36, and 37 series of gas engines and CM engines. Each one of these series of engines was and is applied in all the oil and gas projects of petrochemistry, in exploration, upstream, downstream, transportation and treatment and processing. As to the reduction of the technological needs at transportation of natural gas to create the prototype of this, we considered serial number 35 of piston engines. The application of gas piston engines in mobile variant has got special requests for size and mass and weight and requirements for mechanical duty. The fact that they are located far away from service centers, this equipment should be very, very robust indeed. Why series number 35 of those piston engines? I mentioned why, but we manufactured 190 such engines, installed capacity around the world. The total one is 250 million horsepower and more than 200 billion working hours. Mindful of our experience and experience of implementation of the technology of mitigation of gas losses, I would like to refer to the integrator of this project. This is company group Comita, with which we did this project, all the pre-feed calculations, everything, to identify the prerequisites for this project to be taken on board, mindful of the technologies applicable. This company has been engaged in very important governmentally significant projects like Turkish Stream, Nord Stream, Power of Siberia, and this project of MKS. Since October, as to this project, what was our economy and savings since 2019? We installed 20 mobile compressor installations, being Park 70, 50 on the basis of Caterpillar G35, 13 over 2 years. We retained 950 BCM, mindful of carbon footprint. There was no carbon footprint at all because that gas was not released into atmosphere. For the year 2023, we envisage production and supply of 10 more such plants, mindful of total global emissions of gas. This is in the amount of 10 BCM around the world. And only one mobile compressor plant captures 80 BCM of natural gas. Mindful of time, transportation, and service. No more time, Valerie. Yes, I'm about to wrap it up. All that would have been utterly impossible unless you have got good service support. And in this hall, I can see all the representatives of Caterpillar dealers for Russia and Kazakhstan, and all told for CIS, it's 180 and 58 dealer offices, more than 7,000 people. Spare parts amount up to more than 40, and they are more than $45 million worth. This is the inventory in the warehouses. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, I would like to invite CEO of OMZ Group, Dmitry Sergeyevich Teplinsky. And we have got only half an hour, and we have got speakers like Gazprom Neft, Solar Turbines, Sevzaptechnica, Gazprom, a representative office of Gazprom from Kazakhstan, and machine building cluster from Tatarstan Republic, and diesel company. And we have got only half an hour, so 4 minutes. Dmitry Sergeyevich, I'm from Ochursky Machine Tool Factories. It's supplies of equipment for upstream processing and transportation of gas and production of the equipment to obtain other sources of energy. OMZ Group, that is Ochursky Machine Tool Factory, has got groups of company. Our revenues in 2020 was more than 50 billion rubles. We have got more than 9,000 employees. Company group covers all the key sectors of industry: oil and gas, air separating equipment, and LNG, nuclear energy, metallurgy, conventional energy, electrotechnical equipment, industrial and military complex. The company's group manufactures different types of equipment: reactors, heat exchangers, separators, capacity equipment, and high-tech line of products, air separation installations. They were produced even in the times of the Soviet Union, and also equipment for storage and transportation of hydrogen and LNG. We supply this equipment to all the continents of the planet, to 12 countries of the world. Here you can see our geography of supplies. And we are looking with great enthusiasm towards Kazakhstan market. Previous speakers expanded upon the perspectives of growth of this market, and we are ready to scale up our cooperation with that. We already did a number of very successful projects over a couple decades. These were very good projects, and the latest one was about air separation equipment improvement. We also supply conventional, traditional line of products. We would like to cooperate with Kazmunoygas. At the end of October, the Hydrogen Forum will carry through with our discussions. Maybe we'll discuss new contracts. One of our factors, Krejin Mesh, that's about production and storage and transportation of LNG. My deputy will fill in on our potential to use hydrogen as well. Colleagues, good afternoon. We'll try to refer to Krejin Mesh as high representative of high-tech sector company. As to LNG, we do everything. We manufacture equipment. We have got two reference technologies of liquefaction. We have got our own technologies. That is the technology of injections cycle and technology when we use nitrogen detender cycle. And we do it with our important partner from Kazakhstan. Everything is related, banks financing and the projects supported by Russian export agency as well. It's very important to see that we are not just producing plants for natural gas liquefaction, but we also take care of its transportation, storage, and subsequent use. Although it's not very much supported due to logistic problems in Kazakhstan, but we think that in northern Kazakhstan, they have got this experience of using this alternative method. We analyzed economic feasibility and efficiency of that. I will not dwell on that, no time. The line is quite standard. That is the equipment for LNG liquefaction for the Russian Federation and overseas. Craig and Mash is a unique company. Most of the small tonnage plants are using this equipment, and there is just a handful of companies which really supplies the equipment to China. Hydrogen story is very popular now. But we are just one of the handful of the companies producing equipment for this sector. When it comes to most conservative ways of producing hydrogen, most electrolyzers in the Soviet Union were done at Uralmash, and now it's all done at Kregenmash. It's the system of storage hydrogen pipelines and motorway and railroad tanks and cisterns for transportation. They are also used in China and other parts of the world. So we have manufactured more than 3,500 electrolyzer plants. We are fully aware that those things are unique, but for you to grasp the degree of uniqueness of that, in this picture, you can see this is the transportation more than, it's huge, and it's transported from Balashikha to India. This equipment is so unique that it's economically feasible to transport it that far. What else we are doing, mindful of oil and gas sector? It's integrated supplies, and also we have got the project of construction of new blocks of sulfur treatment of gas and desulfurization, together with financial partner and our shareholders, Gazprom Bank. We can be a financial sustainable partner in EPC projects. That's it. Thank you. OMZ is the largest holding in Russia, and it plays a very important role in oil and gas sector. Thank you very much. I would like to give the floor to Gazprom Neft. Mikhail Kuznetsov, head of the block of technological partnership in import substitution. About a couple of years ago, we were sitting in the podium of one of the forum together, you and me, before coronavirus, and you were telling us about this program of Technological Initiative Center. It was so fascinating. We support you over that time. You developed along those lines. Tell us about your institute, your center. Colleagues, over 5 years we have been engaged in import substitution, and we figured out what we should substitute and import, and there were some challenges. First of all, it's about setting the task for Russian industry and to introduce this system into companies' procurement plan. That was the challenge for Gazprom Neft and other companies as well. So we decided to set up the Institute of Oil and Gas Technical and Technological Initiatives. The abbreviation is INTI. And we have the participation of experts, engineering companies, and manufacturers, which are the major tasks for this initiative to deal with all those problems. First of all, it's about unification of sectoral standards and doing the tests which will be accepted by all the oil companies. And thirdly, it's putting together the base of good suppliers for them to use this database, and not just oil and gas companies of Russian Federation. I'll skip a couple of slides and I'll tell you more details about which companies are participating in the activities of our institute. As to the incorporators, in 2020, there were 4 oil and gas companies out of Russia: Sibur, Gazprom, Tatneft, and Gazprom Neft. Subsequently, we were joined up by Transneft and Lukoil as observers. Then the President of Russian Federation came to know about this initiative and he supported it, and recommendations were given to all the other oil and companies to contemplate entering this institute in different statuses. And here you can see all the largest oil and gas companies who are partners and participate in the activities of the institute. We decided not to stop at that. And we decided that it would be more right altogether to implement this initiative within OPEC Plus. Secretary General of OPEC, Mr. Barkantou, supported our initiative. Now there are 6 gas companies in this OPEC Plus, 3 CIS companies, Kazakhstan gas. Apart from that, also from CIS, it was Uzbek Oil and Gas and Sakhar company from Azerbaijan. We have got 3 observers from OPEC, ADNOC from United Arab Emirates, Sonatrach from Algeria, and KPC from Kuwait. As to other national oil and gas companies, we continue communicating this information within the frameworks of OPEC Plus agreement. We can see the advantages created by the organization for consumers and for manufacturers. For consumers, there are lots of advantages. We would like to extend the market of suppliers. Dear colleagues, in the technical part, do turn off your microphones because it all goes on to our Kazakhstan partners who are online. As to the advantages for consumers, it's obvious extension of pool of suppliers, appearance of local manufacturers and OEMs, which could push down capex due to the competition involvement. We create value for manufacturers as well, because when they become aware that they would like to get a new market, they could develop their standard line of products, make it sectoral, be assessed, and so could participate in all the activities of the institute. It's all implemented within 3 digital services. First one is there to resolve the task to develop standards. It's about development by 2025 by efforts of more than 5,000 experts of 500 sectoral standards. Second one, inequality service to find the sites whereby there would be official experts assessment of all those standards, and we are ambitious. So this assessment of conformity should be done very rapidly. And by 2025, the number of those conformity assessments should be at least about 2,000 per annum. And Insights, this is the database of good faith supplies. We did due diligence on them, and there will be more than 3,000 items of equipment, supplies, and technologies, which we before assessed more thoroughly. There are current results and standards. All that information is available on our website, and Insights database is being replenished. Among the participants, we have got international companies. On their side, there are questions coming up to us. How can we, from observers, to get a status of incorporators and founders? There are some limitations. It's not always they are going to become incorporators of Russian legal entity. Secondly, how will they vote? How the votes would be distributed? Provided we are going to develop further, which we will, so setting up a foreign legal entity is inevitable as the next step, whereby the concept would be implemented that one country is represented by one oil company. It's possible for most of OPEC countries, for Saudi Arabia, for United Arab Emirates, whereby all the industry is concentrated in the hands of one oil and gas company. And Russian Federation of International Companies will be represented by Russian Institute of Oil and Gas Initiatives. As to the distribution of votes, decision was made that one country is one vote, irrespective of volumes of upstream and capital investments. That about wraps it up. If you want to know what comes next, here is the QR code. You can scan it by your mobiles. You'll get onto Telegram channel. If you subscribe, you'll be entitled to all the fresh news. And I am calling upon you. Do think about it. Because sectoral standard for your product is to be developed. That way you'll be able to tap not only Russian and Kazakhstan markets, but all the other countries' markets which are represented by us. Highly ambitious and very interesting projects, which is analogous to American Petroleum Institute. On behalf of Energy Innovations, we'll be interacting with you. Dear colleagues, next speaker, Sevzap Technical Company, Arseny Zaborchik, Deputy CEO, Sevzap Technical Company. We are in St. Petersburg and Leningrad region. That company is located here in Leningrad region, one of the most outstanding Russian manufacturers of containers of electrical power and thermal stations. 3 minutes, please. I'll try. Dear colleagues, I'm from Sevzap Technical Company. Sevzap Technical Company has been around for more than 20 years, and that is the equipment for generation and conversion of energy, and also correction of reactance capacity. Company's background, it starts from the year 2000. At the initial stage, the company was making small diesel stations. Very important yardsticks in company's development is the year 2008. That is the beginning of construction of our own production complex. Then agreement was signed in 2011 with Caterpillar. In 2008, as I said, it's the construction of our ore and manufacturing complex. In 2011, and between 2011 and 2017, it was the production of diesel piston equipment by Caterpillar. In 2021, gas center was set up with the participation of the company. More than 120 large energy sites were constructed anew and modernized and retrofitted. We are a production company. And I should say that this is a modular system, diesel piston stations, also power factor correction units, factory assembled switched gears, and as I said, the power factor correction units, I mentioned it twice. In our company, 200 people are working, 150 are the production, and 50 people do research and engineering tasks. The company has got its own manufacturing site. Total area is 8.5 thousand meters. The area on which we're located is about 30,000 square meters. We have the entire cycle of fabrication, inclusive of design, metal structures and equipment, manufacturing, mounting the systems, and doing functional testing of the projects at the bench. Ensuing from that, the structure of production looks like this. It's metal structures, assembling of low voltage systems, and also generators with evolved gas analysis, and factory assembled switch gear. We have got all the equipment for treatment of rolled metal, all welded sheets. We process metals. Then we are preparing the surfaces and doing the coating. We also manufacture profile sheets for containers. That's the rolling plant, and dyeing system for containers. And we have got this type of equipment. It's factory assembled switch gear. And this is the workshop for 3,000 meters. We do the mounting of equipment and systems here. Apart from that, we have got the workshop of assembling switch gears, and also power factor correction units, and we do testing for diesel piston engines and power stations up to 3 megawatt resistance is 0.3, 6.3, 10.5, and types of fuel are diesel fuel, natural gas, liquefied gas. The availability of such a testing bench is our competitive edge. And here you can see diesel, gas, piston systems, the way they look like. If you're interested, I'm ready to provide you more information on the sidelines of the conference. Low voltage factory assembled units. Approach me and I'll give you more information. And of course, we have got all the certificates of conformity and all that. Here are our customers. That's about wraps it up. Thank you very much. Thank you, Arseny. Our colleagues demonstrated very clearly that we have got the technological lines for embarkment on large-scale products, everything which is very important. Maybe the embassy of Kazakhstan in Moscow will convene our colleagues and have a conference. It all will be about Eurasian Economic Union. Of course, we can do that. That's a brilliant idea. We'll do that. We can do it jointly. That's great. But this is not the end. I would like to give the floor to next speaker, good friends of ours, colleagues from Tatarstan, machine building cluster of Tatarstan, Sergei Mayorov. I am very glad that we've been knowing each other since long way back, and 4 years ago, on the grounds of Economic Forum, we signed an MOU between Innovations Center and this industrial cluster of Tatarstan Republic. Yes, by the same token, we are very glad that we have signed MOU 4 years back from now on the grounds of St. Petersburg Economic Forum. I'm from the largest machine building cluster of Russian Federation, covering more than 300 participants, 700 billion rubles revenues. It's heavy engineering, petro-treatment, petrochemistry, oil, downstream, and we signed more than 400 MOUs with different countries of the world and with 68 different regions of Russian Federation, and we signed 6 MOUs with Kazakhstan Republic. We keep getting in touch with them. September 22nd, 24th, we were participating in a machine building forum of Kazakhstan. We embarked upon 21 priority projects aimed at a reduction of the cost of production or high innovations. I would like to show you certain things here about our innovative equipment. Just for the record of Kazakhstan side, what do we do? It's innovative composite equipment which makes it possible to right-size the costs for operations of different oil upstream wells. And we also apply innovative composite equipment like glass and plastic pipes. We make metallic connectors so metal threads are never broken, or if it is broken, we can repair them and so that you will be able to reuse it. We also protect pipelines from erosion and corrosion in different sectors of industry. Even in utility sector, it's epoxy coatings inside and outside, polymeric coating. We protect welded joints, and for gas networks, our electric insulation gaskets are used not just in Russia, but in Kazakhstan as well. That's how this production goes on. We also produce reactants and surfactants for EOR, for enhanced oil recovery. We render services in oil upstream. We manufacture different equipment for oil production, and we have got a very powerful laboratory. And also, we were the first ones in Russia to be engaged in gas motor fuels, and it's not just compressed natural gas, but also for LNG. We produce the equipment. In F Pavilion number 9, I invite you. You'll see our equipment, and outdoors you'll see our vehicle as well. We are ready and willing to do all the infrastructure for Kazakhstan: gas filling stations, service center, training center for drivers, and we might offer you very interesting forms of cooperation. And also, we enhance labor productivity, do digitalization and robotization. We're number one in Russian Federation on the number of cybers, so we exclude human factor that way, and we can enhance labor productivity when we use algorithmic, small-size, multifunctional equipment which can replace the manual labor within the frameworks of Eurasian Economic Commission. Together with Kazakhstan, we created Eurasian Technological Platform, technologies of technical servicing and repair of industrial equipment. Eurasian Technological Platform unites specialists, several countries like Tatarstan as well, Kazakhstan and Russia. We make new developments and we develop technologies for repair and services of industrial equipment. We do R&D on the request of different enterprises. In Kazakhstan, site was the incorporator of Association of Spare Parts for Agricultural Industrial Complex. Next project, which could be quite useful for Kazakhstan Republic. 3 years ago, we rolled out the project on capital rehaul of the equipment of the trucks, and we replace no less than 60% of all the spare parts by new ones. So we can do it in Kazakhstan and with Kazakhstan as well. Next, integrated project on automation, retrofitting, and equipment of EPC objects, that is turnkey projects. As to development of cooperation, we launched in 2017 national portal of subcontracting with 9,000 participants out of 16 countries, inclusive of Kazakhstan. They reduce the costs and select the supplies. It's not a trading floor, it's communication floor. As to engagement with the Eurasian Economic Commission, we are going to tap international level. We participate in expert orders out of 120 countries of the world. Welcome to Tatarstan. It's very lucrative to cooperate with us, and also it will be very palatable because we're number 3 when it comes to tourist attraction, region of Russian Federation after Moscow and St. Petersburg. So welcome. Sergei Rahmat, as you say. Thank you. So now there will be a last presentation by Andrei Shepelaev from Diesel, after which we'll have to vacate this room, but we can continue discussion informally in the next room. 5 minutes only. I don't want to stand between you and lunch, and everybody is tired. But in a nutshell, I would like to tell you about our new product we made. It's a unique product. It's rapid charging for electrical vehicles based on hybrid gas piston installation. How did we do that? As to the company, I will skip that. We have been around for more than 15 years. We're one of the leaders in state-of-the-art solutions for machine building, diesel electrical thermal stations, piston diesel stations, hybrid plants. We developed hybrid power plants for remote regions. First, it was on alternating turns. It's 800 volt direct current, solar batteries, hydro resources, or sun batteries could be used for that, or wind. Service center projects we implemented. I'll skip that. I can dwell on Kazakhstan. We have been working here since long way back. It's the Ministry of Defense of Kazakhstan, Kazakhstan Railroad, Kazman Gas. For many years on end, those supplies are ongoing. That's diesel power, electrical power plants, but also our project is about hybrid power plant. We started from diesel power plants for remote regions. We managed to make gas piston plant on alternating current. It works also on liquefied gas, and it's only one stage more, and it will be hydrogen fuel used. We only replace one block in our operation, in our control, and it will be hydrogen used here. Just by way of an example, one of the installations that is movable installation, a gas piston power plant on AC, and that section is for liquefied gas, and it's 60 kilowatt. That's gas piston installation, 60 kilowatt. Those warehouses, and they can work in different modes. And it's like an ambulance. Even when it moves from one place to another, it can charge those parts in the amount of 120 kilowatt. That will be the total capacity. Very interesting product. Now it's in the exhibition at Dubai. Now we have got more powerful fixed plant. It can be connected to trunk pipeline gas, and also it could use biogas, oil-associated gas, but we are aiming at liquefied natural gas, because next stage it will be hydrogen fuel, because the future is for it as well. There were very interesting slides shown previous speaker about energy consumption growth around the world. I agree with him, but now we are trying to go overboard with electrical vehicles, and now it's the problem of charging infrastructure. It's about a connector between the capacity with wires, let's say, and the vehicle and controllers, because for each EV it's necessary to have its own software and program for charging own current. But we suggest the installation which consumes any gas. It can work on hydrogen fuel. It's the charging for EVs. I am in favor of gas motor fuel, though. Yeah, but there is this solution which is very rapid. Battery charging on the sidelines of the conference. I can tell you more. I tried to be really very brief. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, I am to wrap it up. Yes, if we show Caterpillar engine there, if you installed it inside, it will be even faster and more efficient. We had very interesting, very fascinating discussion, most cross-fertilizing experience. I have been present year in, year out in these conferences, but this is a very special format. We had got those communications. This telebridge was from London with WEC, and it was Astana connected our speakers here. And after that, it was our broadcasting. And there are lots of participants, but we won't be able to invite them to discussion because there is no more time for us to spend in this room. Nonetheless, there is the broadcasting for Kazakhstan. There are two large informational partners present here from Kazakhstan. It's the portal law.kz, zakon.rb, like our RBK Data and Petroleum Journal. Kazakhstan, they do the informational support, broadcasting, and so on. I think that we expanded upon very interesting avenues to pursue components for our further cooperation within our association's framework of energy innovation. I invite you to continue this work and also within our the activities of Russian Kazakhstan Business Council, and we'll interact with Kazakhstan Embassy to enhance this engagement and cooperation. We should implement that all in practice. And in conclusion, I'm here to express acknowledgments for the organizers. That's Expo Forum, a best venue in Russia, and this best venue in Russia, in the best conference hall in Russia. So let's put our hands together to welcome Expo Forum. Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, Mikhail Mikhailovich. That's it. Thank you.